Welcome to Conversations. I'm Suresh Kochari. Maldivian President Muizu does a climb down, and it's not surprising why he did it. Before we get into the video, I would like you to like, subscribe, and share this video. I would also request you to click on the bell icon for notifications. Now let's get on to the story. From an India Out campaign to We Are True Friends, the Maldivian President Mohammad Muizu has come a long way. From calling India a bully and then taking a free ride on an Indian Air Force aircraft from Male to New Delhi and possibly back to Male, Muizu has learnt what true friendship is all about, not what China professes. The red carpet welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan, followed by delegation-level talks at the stately Hyderabad House, followed by a signing of MOUs and a press statement, all indicate that Maldives has repaired its strained ties with India. The cracks came about, as Muizu admitted, due to the demands of his voters in his country, who wanted the Indian armed forces manning the Dornier and helicopters to be driven out of Maldives. Now, why would a common man want to do away with a helpline that was there for their medical emergencies? It's not rocket science to understand why this happened. It was the Chinese who were behind this, and they did not want the Indian military presence in Maldives, something that would enable the Indians to track the Chinese ships moving about in the Indian Ocean. That is how the India Out campaign came about. But the cooling of the ties between the two nations was marked by an unsavory remarks by two Maldivian ministers who were suspended and of course later expelled. And also Indians called out for a boycott of Maldives, and that led to a big backlash. And what we are seeing is that India met Muizu in May 2024. A deadline to withdraw the contingent of 78 soldiers stationed in Maldives. So India met that deadline. Of course, we continued to operate them, the helicopters and a fixed-wing plane, but they are being operated by a civilian Indian crew now. But if international observers are puzzled why President Muizu and his delegation arrived in a civilian aircraft operated by the Indian Air Force, well, that was just the starters. Then came the currency swap, loan rollovers, and of course, more of it. Most South Asian leaders are invited to New Delhi after they assume office. In fact, one of the first visits they make is to India. But it has almost taken a year for India to accord Muizu a state visit, which is different from the last visit that he had. President Muizu stressed that Maldives would never do anything that undermines the security of India. While Maldives will continue to enhance its cooperation with other countries in various sectors, Maldives will committed to ensuring that its actions do not compromise with the security and stability of the region. China and India are two of the largest bilateral lenders to Maldives, and the cash-strapped archipelago last month insisted that it had no plans to seek funds from the International Monetary Fund, a bailout that came after warnings of a possible sovereign default. Official data showed that the Maldives' foreign debt now stands at $3.37 billion, which might be a small change for India, but it's a big thing for Maldives. And this is especially in the first quarter of this year, equating to around 45% of the gross domestic product of Maldives. Imagine. Muizu said that the line of what he had taken, the line of credit arrangement from India, was a positive step. In fact, in June, Muizu traveled to New Delhi to attend Prime Minister Narendra Modi's oath-taking ceremony, following Modiji's victory in the third consecutive election. India's Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar traveled to Male in August and inaugurated a few infrastructure projects that were funded by India. These included the Great Male Connectivity Scheme, the water and sewerage facilities for 28 islands. A credit rollover of $50 million was done by India, and that prevented Maldives from slipping into a debt trap. Known as a luxury destination with pristine white and sand beaches, secluded resort, Maldives has also become a geopolitical hotspot. India is apprehensive about China's growing presence in the Indian Ocean. Global east-west shipping lanes pass through the nation's chain of 1,192 tiny coral islands, stretching to about 800 kilometers across the equator. India's government has traditionally regarded Maldives as a neighboring friendly country like Sri Lanka to be within its sphere of influence. Since coming to power, President Muizu has toned down his anti-Indian rhetoric and has stated that he would not disturb the regional balance by replacing Indian forces with Chinese troops. According to the Maldivian president, the historic relations between India and Maldives intertwined in the like a roots of a tree, built over centuries of exchanges and values that have been shared. Muizzu knows that his electorate is on a short fuse and the opposition parties in Maldives are waiting for him to fail, especially if the Islamic bonds start bouncing, and that has never happened in history. Maldives has just 6 weeks of foreign exchange to pay for its imports, and the currency swap with India will help tide over the immediate crisis. Being overly dependent on tourism is a high-risk game for Maldives. This, coupled with the threat of global warming, will make any long-term investment in Maldives unviable. India yesterday announced support in form of a $400 million and 3,000 crore as a bilateral currency swap agreement. Muizzu has acknowledged that this will be instrumental in tackling the ongoing financial challenges faced by his country. Looking to boost strategic ties, including increased defense cooperation, Prime Minister Modi and President Muizzu agreed to comprehensively transform the bilateral ties to a comprehensive economic and maritime security partnership. While underlining India's traditional support to the Maldives as a first responder, Prime Minister Modi announced that the two sides will initiate the discussion for a free trade agreement, something Maldives has with China. The Maldivian president also invited Prime Minister Modi to visit the island nation next year when the two countries, India and Maldives, celebrate the 60th anniversary of establishing bilateral ties. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that Prime Minister Modi has accepted President Muizzu's invitation to visit Maldives next year. The two sides also signed 5 MOUs and made several announcements, including the inauguration of the new runway at the Hanimadu airport in Maldives. Another MOU was for the refit of a Maldivian Coast Guard ship. President Muizzu said that India is a key partner in the socio-economic and infrastructure development of Maldives and has stood by Maldives during its times of need. The discussion between Prime Minister Modi and President Muizzu underscored a shared commitment to remain engaged on further measures that will bolster Maldives' economic resilience and stability. President Muizzu said that the Maldives will remain a true friend of India, committed to the shared vision of peace and development of the region. Prime Minister Modi said that he engaged in comprehensive discussions on various aspects of defense and security cooperation with President Muizzu. India will continue its cooperation in training and capacity building of the Maldives National Defense Forces. The two nations will strive for stability and prosperity in the Indian Ocean region and will enhance its cooperation in hydrography and disaster management. India has consistently acted as the first responder for Maldives, be it essential commodities for people of Maldives, providing drinking water during natural disasters, delivering vaccines during COVID pandemic. India has consistently upheld its responsibilities as a good neighbor. Now, RuPay cards can be used by Indians while in Maldives, and this is the latest MOU to be signed, and this is expected to boost spending by Indian tourists when they are in Maldives. India also, of course, we know that extended emergency financial support to Maldives last month, subscribing to the 50 million treasury bill at the request of Muizzu government. Definitely, the days are when China also wants to strengthen an investment in Maldives and in the Indian Ocean region. Prime Minister Modi said that the development partnership is a key pillar of the relationship, and India has always given preference to the priorities of the Maldivian people in this context. India is Maldives' closest neighbor, steadfast friend, and will continue to provide all possible support for the progress and prosperity for the people of Maldives. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.